Let's piss some people off.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to I Am Spice, the podcast. This is my third episode, and before I start talking and I start this episode, I want to let everyone know that this episode I will be talking about certain characters, about people that have crossed my life, people I've met. And the same way, I know that I have changed. I am, people change all the time. We're not the same people. I am not the same person I was last year. I'm not the same person I was even when I met these people that I'm going to mention on this episode. So I do not want, by any extent, for people to say, oh, she is talking about these and this person. This is not about that. It's not about shaming. It's not about talking about those people. Here I am talking about myself. As a single mother that I was, for those who don't know, I was a single mother of, first I was 2 kids, then I was 3 kids, and also was a single mother of 4 kids. And I do not want, by any stretch of the means, people that are going to be mentioned without names, without any order. This is about me. This is about my truth. This is what I lived as a mom, being in a relationship with previous kids, even having my first kids, or whatever I went through. I don't know these people anymore. I know they're well and alive, but the same way I don't know them because I am no longer in their lives, even though they're part of my kids' lives. They don't know me because, and this is so true, they know the version of me that I was when I was with them. And for context, the that chapter of my life was when I was a teenager. And the first person I was until I was 24 years old. Second one when I was around 27, and the third person around when I was 30 years old. So just to make that clear, because I'm not here to drag anyone's name, I'm here to tell the truth, because I've never shared, this side of my life publicly before. And most people online know the confident woman I am today, but they don't know the storms I've survived to get here. So I'm going to speak about being, about single motherhood, about relationships, parenting, and healing. And I have to let you in as I where I come from, because without context, it's just my content will be just words. So this is not about the people I mentioned. This is about how I felt in those experiences, what I carried, and what I had to learn to finally choose peace over performance. What I had to do to learn to do that. So I'm doing this because I know there are women out there that, just like me, were in it and just felt stuck and are still feeling stuck, who are scared to speak up, who are carrying it all by themselves and not being able to, carry anymore. So this is for the one who's doing the bedtime stories routine after a full day of work and still doing everything without help. This is not for the ones who want to stay stuck. This is for the ones who are trying to rise even when they're tired. And these are for the women who are ready to stop surviving and start healing. Because being a mother isn't just about packing snacks. It's about keeping the fridge full. It's about shaping a whole human life. It's about modeling what love should feel like. It's about setting standards so our children don't have to spend their adulthood unlearning what we tolerated as mothers. So if anything, in this hits you hard, it's because it was meant to. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm here to speak what I wish someone would have told me when I was going through each of these situations by myself. And as the third episode of my podcast, this episode's titled, I Left Because If I Didn't, It Would Have Cost Me Everything. And what does that mean? That means when you're a single mother and you have to leave. Where did this come from? Last week, I saw that people were all talking about the movie Straw. I saw this movie, and I'm gonna tell y'all, like, this movie since the first scene captured me, and the way I felt as I was watching this movie, it took me back to so many years. It took me back to so many struggles, and it left me crying, bawling like a little kid. I did not know. After seeing this movie, I questioned myself a lot because I did not know that I had so many wounds left because of what it means to be a single mom and everything I went through while being a single mother. So this movie is honestly is for everyone. It's for single mothers. It's for regular moms that are in a partnership. Watch this movie and do let me know what makes you feel, because as a mom that has been a single mom 3 times in my life, oh my god, it was so hard for me, and I cried so much because it was just so emotional. I felt it all. The way a mother copes with pain, and that just becomes her every day. I felt so related to this movie. You guys have to go watch it. Um, and it left me thinking about so many things. I went back in time and analyzed, and I'm like, oh my god, like I went through this and this and this and that. And for all of you guys that don't know, which are a lot of people, I just said it. If I am gonna be talking about being a single mom and the pain and the struggle and everything you go through while being a single mom, how am I gonna be able to talk about that if I've never gone through it? So I am willing to share, and I will be sharing part of the things that I've gone through in life, not in detail, but believe me when I tell you, I know what it's like to come from nothing and to have nothing and to have 4 kids and to struggle and be a single mom. That was me 8 years ago until I met my now husband, Kevin. Once you grow up and you analyze everything you've been through, and you, like a movie takes you back there, you're like, whoa, let me pause because I need to analyze this and how I used to feel back then, what I went through back then. Let me put a name to that. Have I healed from that? Yes, I have. It was just that it was too much. It just reminded me so much of my past that I was like, whew. And I felt heavy the next day, and I kept on thinking about it. And I'm like, I want to talk about this. I want to talk. These are things that people just complain about or talk about with friends, but people don't talk about it too often, or talk about the truth behind what it takes for a woman to leave her partner and to become a single mother after she gets tired of everything. And I know there's going to be the single dads that are going to be like, yeah, well, what about me? What about me as a single dad? Look up the statistics. 14 to 20% of the families are led by a single father, as to 80 to 86% are led by single mothers. And I'm here to talk about what did I experience with my partners at the time, which were the persons that were at that time and for time frame. I will be saying I was like 18 to 19. I was 24. I was 24 when I divorced. Then I was 27 when I met another one. Then I was 30. Those were those chapters in my life, and the people that I met in those chapters are the fathers of my kids. People that right now I can tell you I know they're well and okay, but I don't know, because I don't know them. I don't talk to them. Nobody out there that is currently not talking to me, and I say this even for families and friends. I may have, I don't know, hundreds of people on my Facebook, but one thing is for sure, that if you're not talking to me on a weekly basis and checking in with me, you don't know what I'm doing. You don't know how I change. I've been a person that have always been working on myself. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the means, but I have always worked on myself and always have strived to be the best version of myself. So I don't know them, and they don't know me either. They know who I was back then. And I can say that one of them was financially responsible for everything. He would pay everything in the house. He would take care of everything financial, but did he bring any emotional, like, did he care for us? Did he show me love? He was emotionally unavailable, and I'm telling you, the coldest person you'd ever meet was that person. And listen to me when I say was. I don't know that person right now, and I cannot say that about that person right now. There was another person who had separate pockets. He paid for certain things, and I had to pay for certain things because I already had kids. And this person also had a tendency of different habits that I was not okay with. Even though I did drink socially, because I no longer drink. That's something that is part of me. I no longer drink like for over 6 years now because I suffer from severe migraines, and it was not, it was something I was no longer enjoying. I would get sick immediately as soon as I had a drink, and it's something that has never affected me having fun. I've always loved dancing, and I can always go dancing without having to drink. That's me and very personal. And that is something that I'm proud of that I can do, because I know that is really hard for other people. So this person, at that time I used to drink, I was able to drink, but I would drink socially. I was a mom. This person had a tendency of just drinking until they weren't conscious. This person was not a good example for my kids, and after many years, like 3 years of like giving this person, and this is why I stayed, because one, I love this person, and two, I wanted to think that this person was going to change. There came a time this person told me, I am not going to change, and we have had a kid already. So what did I do? I literally called it quits, because I always protected my kids. I mean, with him, I had to protect my kids so they couldn't see him while he was drunk or drinking or acting out of character. Me as a mom, being in a household, trying to protect my kids from the person I'm living with, who's supposed to be my partner, who's supposed to be giving me that support. Instead, he is just teaching. My kids are seeing that drinking every day, it's normal. I didn't want my kids growing up in a home where that was gonna be normal for them. So whose job was it to take them out of there? It was my job. And I made the decision of leaving because I couldn't be with someone that was not going to be a good example for my kids and was not willing to change. Was saying already. When I asked why you're saying that, without stuttering, that person said, I didn't tell you before because I was afraid that you were going to leave me. And I was like, great, because now I'm really leaving. And that day, I left the relationship. We had already broken up and we were giving each other another chance, and that was it. And I left. And another of my relationships, one of the three relationships, this person had no sense of financial responsibility. This person would drive me insane with their insecurity and not wanting to plan, not wanting to care for the future. We're always talking about, as adults, we're always like, okay, so where do you see us in 5 years? Where do you see yourselves in 10 years? This person would say, I don't think like that. And I'm like, what did I get myself into? Because I just felt so like drowned into financial burden. This person would drown in a cup of water instead of like trying to come up with solutions. This person would just lay in the couch, look into the ceiling, like if Jesus was gonna come down and like tell him, hey, dude, you gotta do this or sell his. It was so hard being married to, and so frustrating because the way I had seen myself in life, it was never this. But one thing I always knew and one thing I always did was protect my kids from anything at all costs. Because once you come from trauma and you have lived so much and you have seen so much growing up, and you realize you were not even supposed to have been seeing that in the first time. You are like, I don't want my kids to go through this. I don't want my kids to be resentful towards me because I did not take them out of that situation. And I know of a lot of people that are extremely scared of leaving their situation or leaving where they're at right now out of just, I don't know, societal expectations, what people are gonna think. Oh my God, this is so scandalous. You're leaving your family and look what you're doing to your kids. But you're not realizing that if you stay, what are you teaching your kids to do and to expect? And you are the one setting the standards for your kids as to what they should look for in a relationship. What should they be how they should be loving, what they should be taking. If you stay with that person, how they treat you. That's what you're teaching your kids without you even knowing. Because some people just stay so long for so many different reasons. And even though me personally, I cannot relate, and I can say this, and I'm being honest, every time I decided to leave, I already knew why, and I was convinced. And as in my head, because I come from a family that this is not how they think. This was not a norm to get a divorce. In my family, if you married into whoever, you had to stay there and suck it up and stuck in there and push through. And all women have always been praised for staying and being strong for allegedly just taking everything they go through. But that was not how I thought always as long as I was convinced why I wanted to leave and what I was avoiding to happen with my kids or me, I didn't care. I never felt scared. That's what I'm trying to say. I never felt scared, but I know there's a lot of people that stay too long because they're scared. There's also men that are dying to leave, and they also stay because of the kids. But ask yourselves, what kind of disservice you guys are doing to your kids because you're staying. Let's say that you're staying. Oh, because of the kids. No, I'll leave when they're older. In the meantime, ask yourself if you're treating the mother of your kids the way she should be treated. And what standards are you setting up for your kids? Because the way you treat that lady is the way your daughter is going to expect to be treated, whether it's good or bad. And the way you're treating that lady is the same way your son is going to look up as, oh, that's how I should treat a woman. Or they realize it's all wrong altogether, and then they resent you for the rest of your life. And women do not stay for comfort because, oh yeah, he pays everything, so maybe I could say because that means comfort for me, but then I'm losing myself. He's degrading me. He's always holding it over my head. I can't do what I want. This is what I wanted to study. And if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, perfect. Not all of us came to this life to be a stay-at-home mom. And a stay-at-home mom, it's a really hard job. But also as women, we are expected to be both and to carry everything. And the worst thing is what happened to me in these 3 relationships, to be with someone, have a partner, but not for it to feel like a partnership. At the end of the day, the worst thing is to be sharing a house with someone that makes you feel lonely. And most of us, a lot of us stay because we become fixers. And and we were brought up in chaos. So chaos feels normal to us. We don't know anything else but that. So that's what we decide to do. Also, another thing that dawned on me a long time ago is people criticize a woman for choosing the wrong man, but never ask why we didn't know what to look for. We make the mistake of just following that person that reminds us so much of home that is chaos. And this is when parents need to know the importance, and this is why I talk about this. The dad is the girl's first love. So based on how you love your wife, her mom, that's what that girl is gonna expect. So that's why when we go through chaos and so much trauma when we were kids and we do not see that, we do not see love, we do not see caring, we see fight, we see our mom crying, we see my dad fighting, we see negligence, we see emotional abuse. For us that's normal. But then we meet someone and they treat us just a little bit better. Oh my God, and they are literally giving us the bare minimum. We were raised with the bare minimum. Lucky you people who were born into a healthy and steady relationship where all you saw was perfection, which is also fucked up because Who doesn't go through shit? There's no such thing as a perfect relationship. But once you grow up in chaos, don't criticize how many men it took me to find the perfect one. Because I was not raised with the blueprint. If my dad would have been the one to show me how, would have told me, hey, this is the man you need. You have to look for this kind of man. If he gives you this and this and that. No, I did not have that. And I'm not blaming my dad. I'm just saying it impacts a lot. And as a single mother, we have to realize, like, I need to make this right for my kids. I need to protect them. And that's what usually single mothers that come from chaos are always gonna do. If they have seen how chaos and trauma has impacted them and they want to change their kids' life because they want their kids to live a better life that they have until that moment. There was a different reason for why I left every single relationship I left. And also, I never felt as a failure. That was a big thing for me. And that's a big thing for everyone. You don't have to feel as a failure for leaving. Or as a failure because it didn't work out. Feel happy that you realize it doesn't work and you can like steer things around and still make it work for you and your kids. Because that's what really matters. Each time I decided that I had to leave, I always looked at my life and asked myself, am I creating peace or repeating pain if I stay? Should I stay? Should I leave? I watch my oldest son being yelled at by one of my partners in a very, very bad way. And this person did not know what was like to love my kids. That was another issue. And here's a call out to all of you guys and girls who are becoming like stepdads or stepmoms. You gotta realize if you enter a single mom's life, she has 2, 3, 4 kids, you need to realize what you're stepping into. You're loving 3, 4, 5 people at once, not just a woman. Just because she has kids with somebody else, yeah, the financial responsibility is not yours, but you're entering that mother's life. A woman that needs help. She's not gonna be necessarily financially dependent on you, but she's gonna need help. Just because she had a kid with somebody else, that doesn't mean that you can't step in. You accept that challenge. If not, why enter a single mother's or a single dad's if you're not going to step in? And no, you're not there to replace the dad. You're not there to replace the mom. You're there to be also an example of what it's like to be a good human being and how to love their dad. That even though you're not the mom or you're not the dad, that you love her. So be careful getting into a single mom's life and expecting for her to put you first instead of her kids, because that mother is on survival mode 24/7. You're there to make her feel safe and to carry her burdens along with her. Every time I left, I did not leave out of rebellion, but I left to protect my kids and my future self. The reality of being alone with a partner, it's so excruciating because you're still working, you're still doing the bedtime, you're still doing bills, you're just still doing school, and still feeling like you're the only adult in the house. It's so exhausting. Plus, you gotta deal with their things too, and their BS. Like, what are you scared of? If you analyze and you sit down with yourself and you're like, I am doing this by myself, but they're paying this and that, don't feel stuck. There's something that you can do to make it work. Me, I didn't have a choice. Every time I had to go and live with my parents, I did not have the financial means of getting a house, an apartment, or buy a house for myself at that moment. So I had to deal with what I had to deal. And it was strenuating because I was not getting like the financial help or the financial child support, whatever, was not as in this big thing that would help a lot. Being a single mother, and then also the societal unfairness that we go through, because women are praised for suffering, for staying, because you are so bold, because you do so much. Keep on doing it. But then they don't help you. They just, you deserve a partner, not a spectator. So if you're the only one remembering appointments and remembering when they have an event and you're the one comforting yourself while you on the couch, and you're solving your problems on your own. Again, ask yourself again, what are you doing? Why are you staying? And I get it, because sometimes we get promises of they're changing. But are they though? Are they showing up? How are they showing up? They're giving you the bare minimum. Get out of there. Because believe me, I remember every time, there was not a single time I left that I did not feel like I had like a ball and chain on my ankle. And as soon as I left out, I just felt free. And it was not out of rebellion. It was me who had to get my kids out of a relationship that they would have seen turn into a very toxic and chaotic relationship. There was one that the fights and the screaming and the yelling, my kids were growing up, they were little. If I would have stayed, that's what they would have seen. The other one, they would have seen someone being an alcoholic and thinking that alcohol and drinking so much is okay, and like acting like a jerk all the time is okay. The other one, what kind of example would I be giving my kids staying with someone that did not know anything about taking care of them? That would always be no, because God, did I go through a lot of financial struggles with that one. It was like, oh my God. I felt like I had hit rock bottom with that person and went through a lot. When I talk about leaving, it's not just, oh, you're just tired and you just leave. No. I mean, after talking so many times, after asking them, hey, I need this from you. Hey, can you please do this? And you look like, if you see that there's just a pattern of like them promising and like not doing anything and you doing everything, and it's not just, that's when you make the decision. And I know it's hard and it's uncertain. And looking back right now, I'm like, how was I not? I guess I was just, you get so sick and tired of the situation that you're just like, you just want not have to deal with them, period. And once you leave, the financial struggles and everything you go through also put you on the fight or flight situation on your own. It is so hard when you're into your masculine and can't be in your feminine energy, because you have to be the provider. You have to be the one doing everything for them. Because here's what happens when you also divorce or leave someone. Societal expectations. they expect the woman to take charge of everything. So the co-parenting becomes even harder. Because for the dad now, they usually say, oh, but I help her. I help her by picking him up. No! What do you mean I helped her or I help her? Dude, what do you think a dad does? You're just being a dad. That doesn't mean just paying the bills. A dad shows up. That's what it means to be a dad. You're not helping her. You're doing what a dad is supposed to be doing. I don't get it. Women talk like this. Like, oh, I helped her. I took the kid to school. What are you talking about? And this is where things go super wrong. You know, in the gender roles. Because you're the mom, so you have to do the rest of it. And they just pay or see them every other weekend. And that's what they think a dad is what like to be. Another thing about being a mom first, and this is what another thing I went through when I was a single mom. Once I started like going out and hanging out or whatever, there was nothing that would stop me from saying I'm a mom. Every time somebody would ask me about me, I would be like, I'm a mom. Hi, my name is Iris. I am Sababa. I do this, and I have, if it was 2, 3, 4 kids. That has always been something that I was just like, this is me. Because once you're a mom, you're a whole package. And you do not feel ashamed of saying it. You don't feel ashamed of being like, I'm a mom. You're not, I mean, at least that's who I've always been. I've always been like, I'm a mom. Because I'd rather for them to like literally run as soon as they lay eyes on me than to stay me hiding the fact that I'm a mom, and for them to like me without knowing that I'm a mom, and then me, dropping that bomb and then be like, oh, damn. No, you need to know. If you like me, you need to know from the get-go. So that's why, and I'm going to show a little bit of my cards here. I got triggered when I watched that episode of Huda in Love Island, where she didn't want anybody to know that she was a mom. I was like, what you saying? No, you need to say that, because when you say you're a mom, you root out whoever's not interested in being with a woman that has kids. That's what I want. I want transparency. I want to see who's with it or not, or who's going to be like, I don't care. Well, I don't care. I'll step up. Well, let's see if it's true or not. But oh my God, I got so triggered. I was like, my husband knew. I was like, I ain't having this. I wanted to fight that whole episode that she didn't want anybody for her to say that she was a mom. And then we have Mrs. Huda here, confused as to why Mr. Jeremiah was so thrown off and felt like slapped. Girl, because you were up all up in him all this time, and he thought it was like just you, and you just boom. No, you don't do that. So if you think that, because that's another thing they talk about and they say so much, oh, now nobody's gonna want you because you have kids, because you have baggage. You know what? You know what? That is so not true. That is so not true. Because it takes you to be like reckless or like crazy or like be acting out of character for some people to be like, oh yeah. But when you're a grown woman and you know what you're doing and you are you and you're responsible and you got your shit together, there's gonna be a line. And when you love yourself and you show up for your kids and they see that you have everything, you're gonna have a line of men after you. It just takes you to show up as yourself and try not, just don't hide anything about yourself. You're a mom, proud mom, you stand tall. And it did happen to me with my husband. And this is what happened to me. My past relationships, it felt like I was with people that was leaving me to be a single mom. And there's nothing more frustrating than that. And you're a single mom. You don't expect for them to pick up everything for you. But you do expect to be first along with your kids. Not just you. So having someone, and it took me by surprise too, and at the beginning it was overwhelming because I was so used to living with people that kept things separated. No, this is your money and this is my money, and and making decisions on their own based on their things. So my past relationships, I don't consider I could lean on them or that they brought peace to me. When I met this person, and this person, everything got more serious, and we married, and everything was just like, because what's your bank and your thing, and started asking about my financials and this, and the word we, I'm like, I used to talk with my best friend. I'm like, no, he's asking too much and this and that. I think, and we come from trauma. That is not normal. Why would I feel weird? Because that's not where I come from. You guys have to understand, when somebody comes from trauma, calmness and harmony don't feel safe because it's unknown to us. All we know is chaos. All we know is separation. Parents having different bank accounts. They not agreeing on stuff. One making decisions one way, the other one making... And when you have someone that wants to build an empire along with you, and everything is what do you think? And includes you in every single decision. And we both make financial decisions together. And we do not buy anything that is excessively expensive without the other one knowing, because it affects our financial. That was so unknown, and I just got chills. That was so unknown to me. And when this man came into my life and started, I was like, what the hell is this? It took me a long time as a single mom, because I was a single mom. Coming from being a single mom, I didn't know how to translate that. I didn't know what to make of his questions and his concerns. And we need to do this, and we need to align this and this accountant. And I was like, whoa, no. And I had to stop myself. And I said, that's when I evaluated. You went through this, oh. Well, this is new. And what I thought was that he wanted to take care of everything and just manipulate me, and no. That meant partnership. I didn't know what partnership was. And now that we've been together over 8 years, we're gonna be married now 5 in July. I can say that in the past 5 years, I've learned what partnership is. And it feels so good. And I had never experienced it. But it takes that kind of man. Because my guard was up. Because I had promised myself after my 3rd relationship, I honestly, I gave up. I was like, this is it. I'm just gonna stay as a single mom, and this is what I'm gonna do. To me, there was not a chance that I was gonna be with somebody else. But the universe had another plan. Also, I never thought about being with a Caucasian white man. I'm Puerto Rican. So life said, here you go. Here you go. Am I saying that we have a perfect relationship? Hell no. There's no such thing as a perfect relationship because there's always going to be something. But what have I learned, and we have learned together, my husband and I, is to be a partnership. We are a power couple, and I love the security, the peace that I feel next to him. The fact that he knows how to do so many things. That I don't have to be telling him like a little kid, hey, remember this, remember that, remember. No, he's got me. Like, the fact that I go out, that I feel like I don't have to be thinking about who's here, who's there. Like, I know he's got me on every single aspect. That was so known and so weird and so rare, and people that come from trauma do not know what that is, and it feels icky and it feels scary because we do not trust. Because why do you want to do that? Like, why? Like, you feel like you're being set up. You feel like somebody, because that's too good to be true. Oh no. That is, what are you doing? Like, what do you mean we're gonna buy a house together? It's gonna be on my, what? That's not, girl, That's how we feel. And it's so sad. But once you learn that, once you get that, and once you understand it, you can inhale and exhale and you feel at peace. Is it gonna be perfect? No. Especially when you're a business owner, as we are. Is it gonna be worth it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I do not regret any single decision I've made in this life and where it has brought me to. It brought me to moving to United States and meeting my husband and starting a new life with him. It's about realizing that I was right. Because if I go back and I think, what if I would have stayed here? What if I would have stayed here? I wouldn't be here. That the decisions that I made with my gut, that I left, and that even though I went through so many hardships, it was all worth it. Because the universe gave me the person that I needed to be next to me. Not that I I needed, because if not, I was not going to make it. More so that I wanted. Because I always wanted somebody, without even realizing, I always loved the mind of an engineer and an architect. Come to know, that's what my husband studied, and I married him, and after I married him, that's when I'm like, oh my god, I did marry an engineer. I love the way his mind works, and the fact that he compliments me so well in being loved the way I have never been loved. I thought I had loved before I met my husband, And once I met him and get to know each other and everything, and he shows me how it's like to be loved and treated as a queen. Not only that, he recognizes that my kids are a huge part of the package. That in order to love me, my kids had to be a priority. And I'm talking about this man got to know me on the hardest situation I've been going through in my life. And still, he said, let's do it. And he has stuck by my side all the time. And that's something that I never thought I was going to have. And he's my ride or die. And if you think that you're never going to get that in life, that is so not true. Don't let people convince you of that. You keep showing up, you keep loving yourself, and that man that you want next to you will show up. But you gotta be also aware of what to bring around your kids and when. Not right off the bat. Analyze them, study them. Do not show your kids to people that are not gonna stay. Okay? And this is not a call to quit. It's, it's a reminder. It's a reminder of undercover suffering is not normal. We didn't come to this world to suffer. You don't have to stay. But if you decide to leave, also study that and understand what you're going to go through, and that you got to be patient. If you want to go, if you want to stay stuck and stay in that relationship, you do you, but don't complain then. You got to wake up, speak up, redefine your story. Being alone is better than living with quiet chaos. And that's something that a lot of us learned a long time ago. Choose peace above all. And if you want something different for your kids, you have to make a different choice. But it has to be now. So this is all I have to say for you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please put a purple heart emoji if you felt related to anything I said. Please subscribe, hit the like button, share with your people. Please push that bell button as well so you get all the episodes and don't miss anything. And always remember, we're here to unpack. We're always going to be unfiltered, unapologetic, and unstoppable. Take care of you guys.
And remember, we're unfiltered, unapologetic, and unstoppable. That's that.